I spent $325 to get this Intel Apple MacBook Pro shipped all the way from Japan. While it wasn't the absolute greatest deal, it was still better than buying one locally. The seller stated that everything was in good shape, except for some deterioration on the LCD rubber and a few minor scratches on the casing. Ordering from Japan is incredibly easy and intuitive thanks to proxy sites like From Japan and Buyee. Although I've used Buyee in the past, I switched entirely to From Japan because I like their platform. The cost of the laptop itself was $255, plus a $70 shipping fee, which, surprisingly, is still cheaper than buying one locally, where you usually get worse specs and condition for the price. Initially, I planned to use this laptop as my daily driver. However, I stumbled upon the opportunity to sell it for a quick profit, so I decided to flip it. But before handing it over, I wanted to make sure the machine was working perfectly and diagnose any potential issues. Turning it on, I quickly realized that everything was set to Japanese. Not a massive shocker, considering where it came from. I spent an embarrassing amount of time trying to navigate the menus to change the default language, failed miserably, and ultimately had to whip out my phone to Google Translate what I was looking at. Once I got past that, going through the setup process was smooth sailing. However, during the setup, I noticed some screen burn-in that really wasn't noticeable in the seller's photos. It shows up as a slight yellow tint, which could be from sun damage or just overusing the display at maximum brightness. Fortunately, while the burn-in is there, it's not really noticeable during daily use. After setting it up, I tested all the features to ensure everything functioned as expected, and sure enough, it did. During this time, I also managed to successfully switch the language to English, making my life a whole lot easier. Now that I could actually read the screen, I checked out the specs. This MacBook Pro came equipped with a 3.1 GHz quad-core Intel i7, Intel HD Graphics 630, 16 gigs of RAM, and a massive 1TB SSD. Here, you can see the burn-in a bit better. It's definitely more apparent on a white background. Diving into the System Information app, the battery only has around 297 cycles, but unfortunately, the total capacity is down to around 75%. While it's not the end of the world, that's a pretty sizable chunk of battery health missing. Looking at the physical condition, everything on the inside looks great. No obvious scratches on the top case or the keyboard. Moving to the outside, we can see those minor scratches the seller mentioned. Thankfully, they're purely cosmetic and don't affect how the lid closes. Moving back to the inside, here's that rubber deterioration around the LCD screen. It's quite sticky, but it isn't a major issue. The structural integrity is still good, and it seems like only the top layer was affected. Now, it's time to crack this MacBook Pro open and see what we're working with. I flipped it over and removed the 6 pentalobe screws holding the lower case to the body. Then, I used some plastic picks to separate the edges and release the hidden clips, pulling the lower case off with a bit of force. And finally, we can see the internals. While it's dusty, it's definitely not the worst I've seen. I got right to work pulling the visible dust off the fans with some tweezers. You can see a bit of the buildup right here. From there, I went around the inside and dusted all the components using a brush, some isopropyl alcohol, and a microfiber cloth. There was a good amount of dust packed into the fan ducts. It's always incredibly satisfying pulling out big chunks like that. I finished up by giving everything a final wipe down to clear out any leftover debris. Up on the top, you can see all the lint and dust I managed to extract with just some tweezers. With a good clean, this MacBook Pro should hopefully run cooler and perform a bit better than before. I booted it up one more time to ensure I didn't mess up anything while poking around inside and realized I'd forgotten to check a few things. I verified that the keyboard backlight works properly and that the touch bar is fully functional and responsive. Thankfully, no issues there. Unfortunately, I soon discovered that one of the speakers has a pretty distinct rattle when playing audio at high levels. This is a pretty notorious issue on these 2017 MacBook Pros. There isn't much to be done about it, except for replacing the speaker module itself. Overall, I'm really happy with how this project turned out, and if the opportunity comes up again, I'd absolutely do it. I'd recommend opening up your own laptop every now and then to give it a good cleaning. If you're not sure how to do it, there are tons of great resources out there, like iFixit, as well as countless tutorial videos on YouTube. If you enjoyed watching, consider subscribing and check out the other videos on the channel. That's all for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.